Our final speaker of the first session this afternoon is Massimo Sabbatini, Head of Erasmus Centre, again from the European Space Agency. Are you there, Massimo? I can see you. Wonderful. You're going to give us more information on the ESA-ESRIC Space Resources Challenge, which was also mentioned on Monday.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you and for the opportunity to announce this initiative. Can you hear me well?
Perfectly.
Okay, so it is something we do, as the logo on the top right of the picture shows, which is maybe hidden by my picture-in-picture. It's an initiative we do together with ESRIC. It's a mouthful long name. It's ESA-ESRIC Space Resources Challenge, and it is in particular dealing with prospecting technologies. And so where did the idea come from? The idea came from activities we are doing here in ESA and looking at the roadmap for lunar exploration. We came to the conclusion that the first part, the prospecting part that has been mentioned by many of eminent colleagues in the previous days, is not really being given the attention maybe it deserves, in particular for the specific technologies we might want to see when it's about, as the two pictures at the top show, classifying the resources. So what is where, the ilmenite, the water that we've heard a lot in the last days, and exactly where they are when we are to choose future landing sites or sites for human settlements. So in this lunar prospecting, we think that instead of asking for a only paper submission of ideas, we want to go towards a more concrete approach of a proof of concept. So give the chance to small companies, medium companies, large companies to show their concept in action. And how are we going to do that with this proof of concept? We, again, I cannot stress it enough, it's together with ESRIC that ESA embraces this challenge-driven innovation. Challenge-driven innovation that has been used so much on the other side of the Atlantic, as we've seen from NASA in many initiatives, and we are seeing in the moon exploration. And it's by doing the first robotics space resources challenge. We will be asking the European industries, we will be asking the academic in research institutions to answer these questions with a prototype, with the proof of concept. And that is, what are the best technological solutions for prospecting resources? Which mission architectures will better serve the purpose of surveying a large area as in kilometer squares? Will it be multiple vehicles? Will it be the use of aerial vehicles? Will it be the combination of artificial intelligence and, let's say, the increased use of autonomy to take care of the problems in the communication or other problems that can be given by the environment? We hope to engage entities outside the space business, and therefore this is a unique opportunity here, because I'm sure all the many participants to this event will have connections outside the proper space business, and in particular mining. I hear today that mining is very present in this conference, obviously. It's where we hope to engage companies to participate directly or partnering with other members, or even from the automotive. I'm talking European, and I thank my Liz, the previous speaker, for spending so much time on eligibility rules. So that takes me away from that topic. But obviously, we are aiming at companies and teams that are registered in ESA member states. And why are these two entities, ESA and ESRIC, investing money to do this initiative? Well, first of all, because to identify, to ask you to help us identify technologies that are going to be needed for future ESA missions. And in particular, missions like the European Large Logistic Lander, which is foreseen for 2027, or other missions that will have to be approved. We are in the beginning of this era. And the second goal, certainly not the least of this, is the engaging the community, which is so beautifully put together by this event, the Space Resources Week. So we, standing on the shoulder of this giant, we will try to help and give our contribution into being the glue that keeps this community a bit together with this initiative. Now my next slide is not progressing, is the call for action. So here are some dates are the key points that we would like to ask you. So first of all, again, I repeat, we ask you to propose operational concepts and prototypes to solve the issue of prospecting for lunar resources. The key dates, let's start with the calendar. It's the 3rd of May. The 3rd of May will be the challenge announced on the OSIP platform, the ESA-OSIP platform. More on this on the next slide. We will then submit, we will ask you to submit the proposals by the 31st of July. And we will be looking at them. We'll be looking at them in the first weeks of August, and we will select 10 of the best proposals, and we will invite these 10 teams to come to a location next to ESTEC to run the actual competition. We will pay the costs for this, for participating to this, the logistic cost of being there, and we will run the competitions next to ESTEC. Here, a quick sneak preview of what the competition or the location of the competition, the lunar analog, will be looking like. It will be a covered environment. It will be composed of mainly a navigational area, which is, if you look at the left picture, the bird's eye view on the left, it's the larger part, the white part, and where the rover, starting from a hypothetical landing site for the lander, will have to go through some hurdles, which we will design and map later on, and reach the entrance of what we call the darker area, which is the region of interest, where we try to simulate a small crater, where our resources that needs to be identified and located autonomously, or as autonomously as possible, will have to take place. Sorry, I have a small hiccup with the picture. I see a gentleman. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the competition prizes. So why companies would have to invest so much effort into trying to solve this problem, which we are trying to make as realistic as possible, but we will not repeat all the constraints that we will find on the lunar analog terrain. We will try, for example, the dust will be limited. The illumination, we'll try to do our best to create a very strong illumination, simulating the angle from which the sunlight comes on South Pole region. So it will be with a low angle with strong contrast onto these rocks, which we will ask the rovers to identify. Anyway, at this competition in end of November this year, we will select 5 winners out of the 10 participants. And the 5 winners, each one will receive from ESA 75,000 euros as a development contract to bring that prototype to a more refined level of readiness for the technology, and a commitment we will ask from these companies, all 5 of them, to come to the next round, which will be in Luxembourg and will be in October 2022. In this competition, which will be similar in terms of setup, probably a larger environment, probably a more complex situation, a more realistic situation we'll try to reproduce in the analog terrain. But here the prize to be won are higher. There will be 1 winner, and that winner will receive support from ESA and from Luxembourg, 375 from Luxembourg and 200,000 for ESA to bring the technology to a TRL level higher, possibly towards a future moon mission. A big disclaimer I need to say, and I've used not small prints as you see here, and even a very strong red color. I must say that this initiative still is pending financial approval from the last of the financial steps. We've been through 2 already. We need the 3rd one from the IPC, but it will be at the end of next week, so you'll know soon enough. And we are all confident that this will receive a favorable outcome. Where can you follow us? So if you are interested in following this initiative, how can you find out where to find information about it? So first of all, we've already been announcing it on LinkedIn, and the ESA LinkedIn account on the left shows some already, from one announcement we've made, quite some very high engagement rate. The experts at ESA Communication told us that they use an index which is 3.2 out of 4, and this is an engagement rate which is comparable to launches or major events, given the right volume of data, of course. We don't have the same volume of people. You see the numbers in the slide. Also on the right, me as an ESA ambassador, I'm also using my account. ESRIC is also using and reposting, and we are receiving quite a lot of interest. So we are very positive that this will receive good interest. The key point and date, so the date with the 3rd of May when the challenge will be open, if the IPC gives us the go-ahead, the green light, will be the Open Space Innovation Platform of ESA, a platform that is very often used and probably known by many of you for call for ideas. And in there, you will find all the requirements for the data package and all the information we would like to see from your submission. Paper submission first and prototype submission later. With time, we will also launch a website which will contain more detailed information about the challenge, and also a blog where we can keep up the interested people. We can keep posting information also after the selection of the 10 selected teams on the 15th of August. So that will be done on spaceresourceschallenge.esa.int. But of course, like the presenter said before, we will try to post all this information in one location, and we'll be ready to answer all the questions online later on today. So this brings us to my last slide. Try to give as much time as possible available for the Q&A session. So one key point will be the 21st of May. I'm sure there will be lots of questions of technical nature on how we will run this competition, what we will be evaluating, what will we want to see, how big can the rover be, can there be multiple rovers. So first of all, the eligibility rules will be discussed in this info day on the Thursday, the 21st of May. Will be a virtual event, of course. We will need to know who of you are interested, so there will be an invitation sent via email. And that can be done via the email address down here in blue. The program is available to everybody. And yeah, I think being a lot of emails and addresses is better if they will be looked online. For now, I think I'm really curious to see if there are questions, and I want to take the opportunity to thank the organizers, which have put together this amazing community engagement tool of 3 days of event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Massimo. There's a huge amount of interest online as well, and lots of chat about which people are eligible, which countries, and Australia feeling a touch left out in some ways. But just over to you, Joseph.
Yeah, exactly. People are, well, eligibility rules, we talked a lot about it, but somehow everybody wants to participate. So there was a question exactly about opportunities for Australian students to become involved in the challenge. Actually, Bernhard Hufenbach already answered this question in the chat, but I will still mention it. And Massimo, if you have to want to add something to that, you are free to do it. So Bernhard said that yes, international participants can best join teams led by a European organization. And also related to eligibility is a question here from the room from Antoine. He thanks for this remarkable initiative, and he asks what are the funding requirements and the eligibility. So mainly, as we Europeans know, what is the impact on the geo return?
Oh, I'm a humble engineer. This one will be certainly, I think Bernard already answered. The Liz gave a very detailed list of the countries. The mechanism for Australians or for other countries which are not members of ESA is to join a team that is based and registered in an ESA member state. That is all I can say. Funding, as I said, until the real competition in November will be on the shoulders of the company itself. It has to be seen as an investment. This is not an educational effort like previous robotics challenges that ESA has been running. This is really meant to identify companies which can help us in the future to bring the technology further. So we need consolidated industrial partners or research institutions. And the funding from us will start coming, let's say, with the first 5 winners. Already in December, we will place the contract. 75,000 euros per winner for 5 teams. It will be the first way for us to fund. Also, what I need to say, of course, that we will also cover the expenses to come to Noordwijk here in the Netherlands and do the competition in terms of hotel and travel.
Okay, great. Thank you, Massimo. Well, I have to say, from my completely unbiased opinion, it's great to see how the cooperation between ESA and ESRIC, and in general, how ESRIC is moving along. And I'm sure, or maybe I know, that there is still a lot to come. So yeah, keep an eye on what will be happening there. So I think we will stop there and allow for a break that people didn't have during the last days. So thank you all to all the speakers from my side. And Lisa, you can wrap up the session. And
thank you so much, Joseph. And also on behalf of everybody, massive thank you to Joseph, because he has done so much work behind the scenes, and this room has become his home for at least a week. So for him and the team, he's been very, very proactive, and whilst chairing this session, also answering hundreds of other emails and various other things that may go wrong, but they don't go wrong, of course. Nothing goes wrong. They're just challenges to be solved. Yes, lots of interest, and thank you all for those fantastic talks this afternoon. Just to let you know, we have 2 parallel sessions after the break. In room 1, which is this room here, we will talk about financing and business models. And then in room 2, chaired by Aidan Cowley once more, he also chaired a previous session this week, R&D needs and gaps. So room 2, Aidan Cowley will chair R&D needs and gaps, and room 1, financing and business models, chaired by Roberto Cossu and Susanna Soto in this room here. Thank you very much. I see that it's 3:42. We will start for the first time ever at 4 o'clock exactly. So that gives you 3 more minutes than usual. So 4 o'clock exactly, we will start again. Thank you.